News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Fire at a possible meth house trailer. And Senator Steve Daines speaks to the legislature with protests outside in Helena. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, February 23rd, 2017. Had some light snow. I guess what Tolkien would call it a coverlet of snow, just enough to cool a hobbit's toes out there this morning. Roads are a little slick. There's some barren, wet roads, light snow, and 28 degrees in Missoula. There is a winter weather advisory in effect for Missoula and the Bitterroot Valley until 11 o'clock this morning because of the light snowfall. Just about an inch or so of snow. Our newscast sponsored by First Montana Bank, your home for free centennial checking. Check it out online at firstmontanabank.com. The Missoula Fire Department was called out early yesterday morning to a report of a mobile home fire in the Hollywood Trailer Park just off Russell. Battalion Chief Rick Pecta has more.
We received a call for a trailer on fire, smoke and flames showing in the Hollywood Trailer Park just off of Russell. We sent 3 engines and a ladder truck as well as myself and an ambulance, numerous PD officers.
Pecta said he received important information from the police department while he was on scene.
Very hazardous reports were from City PD on scene that it was a meth house. So we had, kind of a hazardous environment. So everybody was told to stay on air as long as possible. We kept bystanders back away from the scene, not knowing what we might have in the air.
Pecta said the quick response helped firefighters keep other trailers nearby from being engulfed by the flames. The investigation into the fire continues by both the fire and police departments. An assault in Missoula's Central Park parking structure early last Saturday has led to much confusion for police detectives. Despite a number of witnesses, the assault occurred around 2 in the morning and involved a handgun, which police have recovered, along with 1 spent shell casing. The victim received a slight head injury, but Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh says it's unclear if the injury came from the gunshot wound or not.
On our arrival, we determined that one male had suffered an injury to his head, and he was subsequently transported to the hospital where he was treated and released. The gist of the story is a little sketchy. We had a lot of persons at the scene at the time of the initial response. Unfortunately, with that many people, you get that many different versions of what happened.
If the victim was shot in the head, it was likely a glancing blow, perhaps even a ricochet. He left the hospital a few hours later, was able to provide a description of the assailant.
He was able to speak with us later that morning. His description was very simply a black male adult, about 6 feet in height, and believed he described the person's hair as being longer on top and shaved on the sides. Another witness described the male as being about 5'8", and our victim said he was about 6 feet tall.
Police are searching for surveillance video of what may have occurred, but Welsh says at this point the chance of finding footage is slim. Now police are asking anyone who may have been near the parking garage or may have seen the attack to describe what happened. Anyone with information has to call Detective Guy Baker or Detective Ariana Adams at 552-6300. Montana Senator Steve Daines was in Helena yesterday speaking to the Montana State House on the heels of a left-leaning protest held in front of the state capitol Tuesday. Though Daines didn't say the name of Donald Trump or Barack Obama during the opening of his speech, it was clear that Daines was optimistic about the party now in control in Washington.
Our federal government was designed to be limited, with limited powers, and the rest was reserved for the states. However, as we've seen in the past 8 years, there are times when certain presidencies and their allies view this in reverse. There are those who believe that the federal government knows better than the states and better than the people. That view ended 33 days ago.
Daines highlighted state leadership throughout his speech, mixing the issue of federalism into topics as varied as the Keystone Pipeline and the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. According to Daines, the 2016 election was an historic turning point.
This started a transfer of power from the federal government back to the states and back to the people of Montana. We are at a unique moment in history. It's a moment when Washington, D.C. understands this most important principle. Montanans are best at running Montana.
While on the topic of historic change, Daines informed the state legislature that a confirmation vote will likely occur next week for Congressman Ryan Zinke. If confirmed, Zinke would become Secretary of the Interior and the first Montanan ever to hold a cabinet position in U.S. government. Republicans who benefited from rowdy town halls 6 years ago and harnessed that discontent with Democrats to win seats in Congress are learning a hard lesson this week as they're returning home. The left is happy to return the favor. Thank you very much. From Maine, yes, to Montana, Democrats and their allies are spending the congressional recess protesting elected Republican politicians. For the most part, they're trying to avoid the events that often turn into shouting matches. Just like the Tea Party sympathizers who vetted against Democrats in 2010, the protesters are taking out their ire on Republicans and their links to President Trump. In Denver, activists this week targeted Republican Senator Cory Gardner. They beamed a picture of him fashioned into a wanted poster to a wall of the Denver Art Museum. Senator Daines hoped to put pressure on fellow Montana Senator Jon Tester to support the confirmation of Judge Neil Gorsuch for the U.S. Supreme Court. Daines visited the Capitol yesterday to tout Gorsuch's qualifications, but of course he was surrounded by protesters. Tester has said he would keep an open mind, but expressed concerns on how Gorsuch might rule on some issues, including abortion, campaign financing, and the environment. State Republican Party Chairman Jeff Essman issued an emergency chairman's report on the eve of the presentation of SB 305. That's the mail-in ballot bill for the upcoming special election to replace Congressman Ryan Zinke. Lobbyist for the Montana Association of Clerks and Recorders and Elections Administrators, Linda Stahl, said Essman's report contains a claim that too many of what he calls lower propensity voters might cast their ballots, thus increasing the Democratic Party's chance to wrest control of the seat from Republicans.
He made all kinds of claims about the fact that if we have a mail ballot for that election, that the turnout will be higher and that it might hurt the Republicans' opportunity to win that race. And so he was drumming up opposition for the mail ballot.
Stahl speculates what a lower propensity voter might look like.
All I can say is these are people that he doesn't think should vote. A lower propensity voter would indicate to me a person who is probably not as likely to vote at a polling booth election as they are if they get their ballot in the mail.
Essman's letter is available on our website at newstalk.kgvo.com. Once Zinke is confirmed by the Senate as the new Secretary of the Interior, the process to hold a special election will officially begin. Our News Talk time is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A little bit of light snow is expected today. Otherwise, look for mostly cloudy skies with our high temperatures in the low 30s. Tonight, a few more flurries. Overnight lows will drop into the teens. Daytime highs Friday and Saturday will stay in the upper 20s and low 30s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster, KECI 13.